Hi, my name is Arandes, and here's another episode of Healing Together. And last one I taped, I talked about what love is not. And of course, I went through the dynamic of how we can release all this fear and this when the desire and all this pleasure or whatever comes forth, how to release it, right? However, I felt like it would be incomplete if I don't share this video, because a lot of times we're trying to put all these practices so that we can feel better as a person. And that's really not what these practices are leading to. The objective is to remember who you are. And who you are is not a person. In other words, the love that I am is not a person, it's not a limited self, it's not an individual part separate from everything. Who I am is the experience itself of wholeness that cannot be described in words, you cannot talk about it. We can speculate about it. I mean, it's like being in a dark room and speculate all you want about the light, but in the end, light is an experience, and the experience of light is the absence of the dark room. You know, the dark room cannot be there if I am having the experience of light, right? So we try to do the best we can with words, but it's actually very, very limited. So I'm going to share with you how I feel is the best way to handle this, is to ask yourself, what do you really desire? What do you want? And what I mean by that is that if I want anything of this world, then you could say that I'm not really ready for this work. This is more like for someone who wants truth, who wants to know the essence of who you are, the truth. And for that, usually, it doesn't have to be this way, so don't take it as a rule. But for the most part, we have to run a little. We have to have experiences in the world. I have to experience having things that I want and all that stuff to come to the realization as a personal experience that no matter what I get from the world will never leave me satisfied, will never leave me complete. It may give me a little satisfaction for a moment, the high of thinking that I've accomplished something, the idea that I feel great because I had this toy or whatever, but in the end that feeling goes away, and then I want to experience it again, so I go for the next thing. And if I keep doing that, I'm going to keep running in circles, going for the next thing, as I experienced in the video before, the one that I entitled What Love Is Not. The nature of the human being is desire, because the desire of feeling like a human is what projected this whole experience, so to speak. So desire comes from a place of lack. So now, if my desire is for truth, right, meaning for the release from all desire, so that I can experience that which I already am, so I don't even have to go for it, it's just really what I am, then it's different. So I've been in the spiritual journey, in the spiritual search since 1989. So now it's 2018, so you can figure out the years. Now, during all those years, which in somehow the spiritual journey began, I was not really seeking truth. I was really seeking pleasure. I was really seeking accomplishments, only that I want to use spirituality as a means of doing it, because if you do it spiritually, you don't have to work for it, you don't have to struggle for it, and have to, and then I put love around all of that. I cover it with this idea of love, which again, we dismantle it in the video, in the last video. And of course, that was part of the process. That was part of the journey that I had to go through to finally let go of all the things that I thought I wanted, to all my desires, so to speak. No, I wasn't letting go of the desires. The desires were letting go of me as I continued to become more aware of the truth of who I am. That does not imply in any way, shape, or form that I'm enlightened or that I claim that I'm advanced or whatever, because as long as I experience myself as a body, there's still work to do. I do have to say that the level of inner peace that I've been experiencing more and more as a result of this commitment to truth is being much greater. You could say, I could honestly say, there's no money in the world that I would take in exchange for the experience that I'm having right now. or the experience that I'm living. So once again, what's really happening is that as a result of desiring truth as the most important thing, all the stuff begins to fall apart. All the debris begins to fall away. Now let's use another word for truth, so we don't make it too abstract. Let's say the word peace. When you want inner peace as the most important thing of your life, then this word makes sense. If I don't want inner peace, it means that I want desire. I want pleasure. That's the difference. It's not right, it's not wrong. All roads lead to Rome, because in the end, if you go through the road that is not the correct one, you will notice and you will return back to center. So either you bring yourself back to center from this space that where we are at, or I can start choosing and chasing all kinds of things to realize this is not. That's why one way of remembering who you are or being aware of who you are is by being conscious of remembering or being aware of who you are not. And so it's more like a process of elimination rather than a process of seeking or getting to. I will never experience love if I'm seeking for it, because I am love. It's the same, we are love. There's no we in reality, but just for the sake of language. In the same way that it appears that I'm here on a camera filming a video, it appears that there's somebody else watching it, but again, that's just part of the game, that's part of the Maya, that's part of the illusory aspect of this experience. But because that's what it appears to be, we'll use the language as if I'm really talking to you and you're listening to me, but in reality, I'm talking to myself, I'm listening to myself. As a matter of fact, I'm not even talking nor listening because I'm not even here, but it appears to be that way. So, So as peace becomes the most important thing, then I'm ready to deal with all that is going to come up to the surface. Because if peace is not the most important thing in my life, I'll always fall in the trap of believing that there's something out there that is going to make me feel better. And that's what happens. We keep choosing constantly, avoiding pain, seeking pleasure, because I believe, it's not the truth, but I believe, or this is the common belief, that there's something in the world that is going to make me happy. That's why I want the bigger car, or we choose the more money, or a different relationship, or a younger one, or an older one. I don't know, whatever people may seem to like. Whatever the ego thought system makes believe that that's going to make me happy, or is going to give me that which I think is going to make me happy, it doesn't matter. When the desire for truth is the most important thing, when the desire for peace, then all of this stuff that we're talking about makes sense. Otherwise, it's not going to make sense at all, because all I'm going to do is I'm going to choose spirituality to try to feel better. Again, trying to use spirituality to try to make me feel better is like saying, I still want to be an ego. I don't want to be God. I want to be an ego, but I want to be an ego with the qualities of God. See the difference? It's like I want to still be in the dark room, but with the qualities of the light. And there's no such thing, Either I am the light, or I'm having the experience that appears to be that I am not that, which is what's happening in here. So the question is then, can I live at peace and happy while I still have the experience of being an ego? Well, yes, but that only takes place when there's a change of mind, meaning when the world is no longer valuable to me. In other words, it's like when you're having a dream. When you're dreaming at night, if you believe that the dream is who you are, of course you're going to go through the roller coasters on the ups and downs of everything. Not that the dream is causing that to you, but because the mind that is dreaming the dream is giving the dream the cause and is experiencing the effects of the cause that is giving to the dream. In other words, the mind is feeding the dream and experiencing the effects of the very same thing that the mind is doing. It's sort of, I know it sounds very, 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 very crazy, but it's what it is. I mean, the ego has no effect on me because the ego is fed by me. So I am feeding that which I'm scared of. You see that? The craziness of it. But that doesn't matter. The important thing is that there's a way out. And the way out is a complete surrendering. I did a whole video on surrendering. It's surrendering. It's nothing else. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to figure anything out. It's surrendering. But again, listen carefully. I'm not surrendering so that I can feel better. Meaning, I'm not surrendering so that I can continue feeling like an ego, like a separate self within the dream, without wanting to let go of the dream, but within the dream, but I want to somehow make the dream better or feel better. No. I am surrendering so that the wisdom that I am, the mind that is dreaming the dream, become conscious that it is mind and not the effect, not the figure in the dream. In other words, I am surrendering so that I can become conscious that I am conscious, that I am that which cannot be described. So, in other words, I am already that. Call it love. Okay, but I have overlooked the awareness of who I am because of what I think I am, who I think I am. I think I am a body, I think I am my thoughts, I think I am my feelings, I think I am my experiences. But if I live in a state of complete surrender because I truly desire inner peace, all these obstacles fall away on their own, and then what's left? What I am. See, so really there's no seeking, there's no going forward, there's no trying to look for anything. It's just the awareness of what I am. And in that sense, although I see myself sharing all this, I don't know, call it whatever you want to call it, teachings or whatever, I don't consider myself a teacher. I consider myself more like that which is becoming more aware of who he is. The experience of being, let's say, sharing this experience or these principles, it just comes as a result of surrendering. See, I don't have the intention of teaching this to anyone, because if that would be the case, I'll be supporting the belief that I am a person and that there's someone who needs this. But if I continue the work of surrendering, then it's just like I trust that for some reason I found myself recording this video. For whatever the reason, I don't know, don't ask me why, it's just what is happening. And then I become the witness of the experience, and more I can be in contact with that inner peace that I'm talking about, that I am. So again, going back to the analogy of the dream and to the question, can I be at peace and happy while I'm here experiencing myself as an ego? Well, again, if the mind becomes aware that is mind, meaning that it's a lucid dream, then the mind is not affected by the dream because it's consciously aware that it's a dream. So when there's an inner change, when there's a change of mind within this context, of course, then you can be, actually, technically, the goal, there's no goal really, but the experience of love is so you can experience and be the love and the peace that you are while you're still in the dream. So you cannot be the love and the peace that you are within the dream, because what you are is the mind that dreams the dream. And that is not even true, because that implies separation. There's a mind and there's a dream. So this is language, but language is very, very, very limited. As I continue to surrender, it's sort of like as the mind begins to make that shift, then I can live the experience, but from a different space. I may still have all the feelings that come through, but the feelings are just observance. They've been observed as what they are. I don't identify myself with them. If I don't identify myself with them, then feelings are things that comes out of nothing and just disappear into the nothingness. Sensations, thoughts, whatever. But it's like the analogy that have been used before, many people, I guess, is the sky. The sky is the sky, and the clouds are just the clouds. It's when the sky identifies itself with the cloud and believe that it's the cloud, that's when the problem comes in. So once again, if I am identified with a person, meaning the cloud, I am identified then with all the programming that comes with it. And that's what I said at the beginning, that if we're trying to do this work so that I can feel better as a person, the challenge is that I'm still identified myself with a person, and that's what we have to let go of. We don't let go of the person. I cannot do that. From a person, I cannot let go of the person. But I can let go of my identification as a person, and that's something that takes place in the mind, doesn't take place in the form. And that's why there's nothing I need to do, just to surrender. Surrender, I mean, be quiet and remember your God, something like that, you know, be still and know your God. That's basically it. There's nothing else to do. It's just the experience of being. But that's not something that I try to do. And once again, once I realize, come to the realization that inner peace is what I really desire, then this work is more doable. If I still desire the world, desire to feel better as a person, desire to feel, which is what everybody wants to feel better as a person first. That's why the spiritual journey is very attractive at the beginning, because somehow if I do meditation and do all the things, I feel a little bit better. But all the fear comes back up again because it's part of the programming of the idea that I'm this thing, this self. But then, you know, again, after we've run a little and I just done a couple of things and I had all these experiences and realized that I'm still feeling that there's something lacking, that's when I begin to question everything. And then it comes to a place of complete surrender. And that complete surrender, again, at the beginning can be experienced very difficult, very painful, because although I claim that I'm surrendering, there's a part of me who doesn't want to surrender. You know, I do want truth, but I'm afraid I'm losing something. See, I feel like I'm losing anything, but in reality, I'm not losing anything. I'm gaining everything. And once again, this is not gonna make sense because I'm saying it on the video. It'll be your experience when you're ready to completely surrender. So if you ask me how do I live my life in a state of surrender. That doesn't mean that I don't feel the things that we feel or don't feel. It means that when I find myself having the conflict at a much deeper level, there's a part of me that is not quite surrendered. And then what I do is I observe it. I realize, okay, there's still resistance here because at a much unconscious level, there's a part of me who doesn't want to let go of this I. I don't have to feel guilty about it. I don't have to do anything about it. I don't have to force the process. All I have to simply is be. And that's the practice. That's what is called the practice of surrendering, of letting go. That's all there is to it. There's nothing else to do. Because in the end, remember, I'm not doing anything. It's just, even that's an oxymoron, talking about something to do or not to do. I'm not the one who do anything. Things are done through me. Life is lived through me. The difference is, how am I living it? If I'm identified with a thought system of fear, I'm going to live that experience with a lot of suffering, with a lot of psychological pain or whatever. However, if I surrender, true surrendering means I completely let go, I know absolutely nothing, then it could be said that I'm identified with this wisdom, with this love, with a thought system that I can live that very same experience peacefully. Because again, a peace that passes all understanding. So I want to make you conscious of the fact that this journey, it's really useful when the desire is truth, when the desire is peace. When that is our utmost desire, then all of this is going to make perfect sense and everything will fall into place. Just be aware of that. Because if we're trying to use this to feel better as a person, all I'm trying to do is continue to hold on to the belief in separation, and from the belief in separation, all I'm going to experience is lack, fear, pain, suffering. Only when I'm willing to be aware of who I am, and I'm willing to go through that tunnel of the distractions and all the fear that come through, if I'm willing to just put one foot in front of the other one, just remembering that all I want is to surrender, to be at peace with who I, to remember that peace is what I am, then it's a journey that I guarantee you'll be grateful for it. The words come, they come in Spanish. I try to translate to English, but they don't seem to want to come that way. So maybe that's a time for me to shut up and to simply remember, just let it be.